Back to that Kevin Show with Kevin McCullough.
And we're back from Times Square on this side of the camera. On that side of the camera, Melissa Jane Kronfeld is joining me from Tel Aviv tonight, and we are grateful for her willingness to come and tell her story. You were talking about, just before the break, the relative calm that has occurred within Israel itself. And you used a term, I want to make sure people heard, an Arab Israeli. In the grotesque pro-Hamas demonstrations that have happened here in the States, I don't think one piece of news coverage anywhere in the U.S. has mentioned that there are not only Arab Israelis, but that there are some that hold seats in the Knesset and as part of the government, and that Israel as a country is ecumenical in its racial profile and makeup. And Melissa, I don't know how the world gets away with telling the lies that they do about the way Israel operates, but it is far more diverse than anybody has been giving any light to.
Yeah, absolutely. The Arab Israeli population is approximately 20% of our, I think we're 9 million people. I have to double check on that, but they're approximately 20% of our population. And, I actually heard something very interesting today. Flor Hassan, who's the deputy mayor of Jerusalem, unfortunately, her father-in-law just passed away, and she was on air talking about how in the hospitals, and she was talking about how unfortunately, when her father-in-law was passing away, during the course of this entire thing, he just passed away. She said, it's the entire hospital is just Arabs and Jews working side by side. There was no strain, no pressure, no anxiety, no weirdness. Everyone was just continuing forward. No one was putting aside what was going on outside the doors of the hospital. But her example is really proof positive that this is a country where, when push comes to shove, if you are Israeli, you're Israeli. And one of my best friends in the whole world is Arab Israeli, and he serves in the IDF. Right now, he's fighting on behalf of the Israeli state. He's fighting on behalf of all of us, and he frequently texts me to remind me that he would die for Israel, the Jewish state.
Yeah.
And so it's very important to remember that. But it is,
which is incredible to contrast that with Hamas, who just 2 days ago's top leader said that the Palestinians in Gaza, quote, must be prepared to give their lives for the cause. I mean, just contrast what you just described and the leadership of Hamas at present and what they're doing. And there's really no comparison, but for whatever reason, the global media has tried to make this a very equitable one-on-one type of situation. And I just don't see that. There's a couple of other things I want to make sure we get to. And one of them is, as you went through the day and as Israel has gone through the days since, you're into the response phase now. The Hamas information wing is telling even Fox News and others that there's tens of thousands of children that have been killed and all sorts of other things that I just don't accept because they come from that source. What is the general state of mind from the people that you live around and interact with right now in this response stage? Is the action that's being taken what needs to happen in order for Israel to kind of eliminate the Hamas threat for the future? Will Palestinians be better off because of the actions that Israel's taken right now? What's your sense of what's happening?
So I'm unique in the sense that I'm not like a classic Tel Avivian, as you'd probably expect. Most of my friends live in Judea and Samaria, where I myself helped establish a yeshuv.
Been there, I love it. Yes.
Yeah, what the European Union would call an illegal outpost. And I work in Jerusalem in the Temple Mount movement. So a lot of my friends are, what would be considered the far right in Israel. And so I have probably a more unique perspective than most Anglo Jews, many of whom ran away home as soon as the conflict started because it was too stressful for them to listen to a couple of rockets all day long. Sorry, I'm a little judgy on that. You don't get to
what you've lived through gives you the right.
You don't come here, you make aliyah, you accept the good and the bad. I wouldn't dream of going home right now. My mother's offered me cars, houses, money. Literally, she's like, I'll give you anything you want if you come home. There's not a chance I'll ever come home ever again now, ever. Where you have to, this is it. It's where I'm never leaving, not even for a visit. Like, I need to be here. This is what I'm doing. And so my first, I could tell you that with that caveat in mind, I think that in the communities and the people that I know, there's and I work a lot with the IDF, but like there's a sense that there's definitely a fear that we're not going to go all the way. Now, the more and more I watch the news and what I'm seeing now and how they're going into Gaza and the people that I'm speaking who are in Gaza right now fighting on the front lines, I become more confident every day that we're going to do it. It takes to literally, end Hamas as an entity and create a better world for it.
Ready or not, we'll be right back.